All right, good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Russell Journal Nightly. We're doing the technical analysis and going over the news for today to see what the market's going to do tomorrow. I am Russell Liss. As you can see, we're kind of getting things ironed out over here, so things are moving a little more smoothly. Still a few glitches to fix up. But in the meantime, let's jump into the stock market and what's going on. Okay, so today the market ripped with the S&P closing at all-time highs, SPY closing at all-time highs. And as of lately, that is the 69th day in a row or 69th time this year that the S&P has closed at an all-time high. So things are very, 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 very bullish right now. In the markets. Now, there's a few reasons for that. One of the main ones, apparently the CDC came out today and relaxed the guidelines, or they came out this weekend sometime. I'm not sure exactly what the time was on it. They relaxed the guidelines for COVID, where you only have to be quarantined for 5 days instead of 10 days. All right. Second thing that's going on, obviously the Santa Claus rally. So you just have euphoria chasing the market, which is pretty crazy to see keep happening. Just having this stock rally. Obviously, part of that is fueled by money coming back in off of stuff we've talked about, which is the rebalancing is coming back in. You're also looking at, tax loss harvesting coming back in. And so you've probably got a couple of really good weeks of growth going through this week and next week where money will start funneling back in. For those of you who don't know, if you take a loss in the stock market, you can harvest that loss by selling and taking the loss. And as long as you don't buy back in for another 30 days, you can claim that loss on your taxes. You can also take that loss and you can track it forward for like several years. So you might take a loss this year, and in 3 years, when you make money on that, you can say, but I lost that year. So you can really dial back your taxes on it. The last thing, okay, so this one I want to talk about. Okay, so China's housing prices are basically crashing right now. And I'm going to talk about this, another part of this later on in the video. But as of right now, China's Evergrande is kind of leading the charge as far as the bankrupting housing development companies there. They have come out and said that they've got it under control. It's only going to be a blip. It's going to move back up very quickly, and people will get their houses and things of that nature. We can only assume at this point that they've got some sort of hush deal with the Chinese government in order to keep their market from entirely collapsing. Okay. And then there's a bit of this too, where again, something I've talked about, a lot of money just sitting on the sidelines in general. Can't really normally. What used to happen is if I wanted to store my money, okay, when you're very rich, you want to stay rich. So you're not interested in risking any of your money. So what you do is you put that money someplace where you can't lose it, okay? And so rich people have been for decades and decades parking their money into bonds, okay? With the Fed tapering their buying of bonds and bonds being at record low interest rate payments and things of that nature, people are not buying bonds with that. At the same time, you have interest, or you have inflation at all-time highs. Okay, the only place you're going to beat the inflation right now is in the stock market. So you want to put your money somewhere and have it beat inflation, right? Save it from being lost to inflation. You got to go into the stock market. That's about the only thing. You could do a little gold right now. Silver looks really good, but in the most part, this is where you're going to go, is to the stock market. This is where you're beating You know, I mean, the S&P's up like 54%. It's got a 54% return this year or something like that. So it's pretty insane as to what they're doing. So we're looking at the bull rally, and we're going to go into the chart. We're going to look at a couple of different charts really quick to see what's going to happen tomorrow, and really sort of talk about this technical analysis and a couple of different pieces on the technical analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and go over to the chart. Okay, so now this chart, mind you, is probably a little noisier. We should come back to this. I'm going to go over here, go here. I'm going to come back right here. Come back to it. Come back, baby. Okay, so this is SPY. This is S&P. This is a ETF that tracks SPY. Now it's going to be kind of noisy. If you've watched any of my previous videos, you obviously have our 200 EMA here. We have our 50-day moving EMA right here. And then you have your chart and your candles. And as you can see, we've been on this massive bull run. And as we get into these times, I'm sorry, I'm going to go to the daily so it looks a little more realistic. So you get this massive bull run, few pullbacks, a little bit of weird times in market, but mostly by the dip times. And then again, you can see, and here we are on this green candle going all the way up to here. And you can see from the daily chart, we are at all-time highs. Okay. Now, I've made this a little more noisy so that we can go over some of this technical analysis and we can sort of try and predict where we're going to possibly go. Okay. So the first thing, again, we have, and I haven't moved it since the other day, we have our support for SPY. This is our deepest support at 427. Then you have your next place where, again, what we talk about, this going up to the distance here that is now 2 times acted as support. And now you have this monster bull run coming off of that support. All right. Okay. Bear with me. That's very simple. Okay. So here's the thing. We closed. This is the all-time high. We're as high as we've ever been. So we need to look forward and go, how high can it go? Okay. And you can see. So what we're going to use here is a thing called the Fibonacci extension. Now, I'm not going to teach you how to use this. If you want to learn, again, if you want to learn anything on this channel or from me, just hit me up. I don't charge anything. I don't have any courses or anything like that. You will need to get the broker, the Webull broker. You'll need a broker in order to be able to buy and purchase stocks. They're your marketplace for being able to do that. And what you're going to want to do is there should be a link in the description below. If there's not one there, hit me up, and me or my girlfriend, love the girl over and producer, will get you a link. Okay, so basically the extension works on what's called the golden ratio. If you don't know what that is, go ahead and YouTube the golden ratio. Okay. It's not necessarily the most perfect ratio, but it's the one that's most commonly used. And you can see again where the bottom line of this here and how it lines up pretty well with the top of the next line up. So what we're going to be looking for with the extension is basically the next move up. Okay. Which I have. So from here, our next line up looks to be 480 and above that 482. Okay. So where we're going to be really interested is that 482 level. This 50% number means that, you know, anyway, that's an important number. I'm trying not to get into the teaching of how to use this too much because I want to keep it moving. So as of right now, what I see is this continuing to go forward. Possible pullbacks. If you're asking me tomorrow, I'm calls, not puts. That's what I'm thinking. That's to say if there's no bad news. Again, similar sort of thing if we're looking at IWM. Again, I'll pull over to, we're on the daily over here. And you can see, haven't moved our lines much. We have our support down here. We bounced off of it exactly here. We came back over the 200 and we came over here where support, basically this was resistance here. Support became right here. And up here, we are now touching the 50-day moving average, okay? So what we want to see from this is we want to see a continuation of this. And there's two things that we're really interested on. I actually have to go to the 30-minute chart to show you the few things. I think this is the 30. Yeah, so the 30-minute chart, this is what we're interested in, is one, this peak right here. If we don't get over this peak right here at 226, we can look to see some more downward or sideways action in this, okay? So I'm call biased on this, but I'm not. I think I'm long biased, but I'm not sure how much more room it has to run. We did close today at 224. So we're looking for that 226 to be the next move up. If we get above that, and honestly see 233, we can go back into, we can even see the 240s, okay, from the all-time high. Last one to look at, and we're very interested in this because tech has been getting its ass kicked out there, okay? We'll go to the daily. QQQ is holding up mostly because Apple has been just like just a beast, just ripping up as high as it can go. Again, you're at 403, all-time highs at 408. Again, we're going to look for it to get above there. Once we do that, I'll do that Fibonacci extension there to see what our next levels will be. At some point, though, we'll basically get the extension and see what happens. Again, if you're interested in tech, you know, Apple, let me look at Apple really fast. I don't normally do individual stocks. I've traded Apple a little bit. Again, you can see Apple's very much like the other ones. Very similar here, up here against the top. One of the things I will tell you, if new to technical analysis, when you see this sort of move right here, this line is a breakout, okay? Where it's pushing up, where it's matching these, it's setting up to break out to even higher highs, okay? So again, if you're interested, now the big thing about it that's important is Apple is a part of QQQ. So if Apple keeps going higher, QQQ is going to keep going higher. Apple is also a part of SPY, so it's going to pull SPY even higher. If they're going up, chances are, now normally the Russell 2K or IWM leads the other two. As you can see right now, it's definitely not, aside from following their bullish run right here, because they had pretty bad, Russell 2K had a pretty bad beatdown. But this one eventually will lead the other two. Okay. It will start to take over. So there's a pretty good chance we're going to see some pretty heavy movement to the upside for the Russell 2K tomorrow. Again, if you ask me puts or calls, I'm going to say calls. I tried puts today, and I had to switch over to calls in order to break even. And that's sort of that. That's really kind of how I'm feeling about this whole sort of thing. As far as I'm concerned, again, calls across the board tomorrow. Very interested in that. Again, really watching now our levels and watching our technical analysis, making sure that we have trade plans. We've been able to wing it quite a bit over the last month or so, just sort of eyeballing it. Right now, though, I mean, we're breaking into these whole new territories, so it's going to be technical analysis and trade plans, balls to the walls for us. We can pull the chart down. I don't think I need this chart anymore. So make sure you have your trade plans filed in the morning or the night before. Plan your trades and trade your plan, okay? It's going to be pretty awesome. We should all be able to make a lot of money very easily over the next couple of weeks. Now that sort of all the stuff is ironed out, I took a few hits this morning. I wound up about $90 up. So everything is really good. All right. So all of you who are out there in the world, my market participants, I just like to thank you. I hope you guys stay green out there, and remember, respect your risk. All right. With that, I hope you guys have a good night.